Game of Thrones cut dozens of characters from the books, characters who were important to making the plot make sense. So let's rank my top 10 favorite characters who were cut from the TV show and should have been in the TV show. Please remember this will be a vibes-based list based on my vibes, who I personally like. So no, you're not going to see a Greyjoy. Sorry, Victarion stands. Him and Darkstar are not going to show up in this video. I apologize. I know Darkstar isn't a Greyjoy, but still, I don't like him either, so he's not going to be here. Starting off, I'm going to break my own rule and say that Young Griff and Old Griff, Aegon Targaryen and Jon Connington are going to be combined at number 10. And that's right, Aegon Targaryen here. I'm going to be real. These two characters, their omission from the TV show is the reason the TV show makes no sense at the end, because they are important to the plot. So Aegon Targaryen, again, Aegon Targaryen, sometimes called Fagon, is supposedly Rhaegar's son who was smuggled out. Him and Jon Connington, who's Rhaegar's ex-best friend, not ex, but Rhaegar's dead. But they are basically trying to take the throne for Aegon to restore the Targaryens with Rhaegar's son. Maybe son. But yeah, their omission causes lots of fucking problems because they end up combining each of their individual storylines with other characters, which cause further problems and have poisoned the minds of this fandom. So Aegon Targaryen over here, he gets combined with Jon Snow. That's why Jon Snow is called Aegon Targaryen, not because that's his real name. That doesn't make sense because Rhaegar already has a son named Aegon. Do you see I'm getting closer because I'm frustrated? And then Jon Connington over here, he gets combined with a couple people. First off, the obvious one is Jorah Mormont, because Jon Connington is the one who gets grayscale in the books, not Jorah. So when Jorah has to go on that whole mission to cure himself or whatever, doesn't happen, because that's not Jorah's storyline, that's Jon Con over here. I'm getting frustrated already. But yeah, another important thing to know about Jon Con over here is because he is, young Aegon's like going to be his hand of the king, he's helping to run this invasion for him. Jon Con is Aegon's right hand, and they've just taken Storm's End in the books, and presumably from there they're going to march on King's Landing to take King's Landing. Seems normal, right? If you're conquesting. Well, the issue with Jon Con over here is, he has the grayscale, which grayscale makes you go crazy, and he's hiding it. He's hiding it as they're heading in that direction. Also, fun fact about Jon Con, because he fought during Robert's Rebellion on the side of the Targaryens, he has some battle experience. One battle in particular was called the Battle of the Bells, where the sound of bells rang while he was doing battle, and he has since been traumatized by the sound of bells. Isn't that interesting? So we have an invading army with a Targaryen being led by someone, Jon Con over here, who is traumatized by the sound of bells heading towards King's Landing. I wonder who that sounds like. I wonder why they were cut. Y'all get lots of close-ups of my face. But yeah, they're also just interesting characters, and they are sorely missing the TV show. I'm going to move on because I've been talking about them too long. Next up, in 9th place, we have our favorite wannabe main character, Mr. Quentyn Martell over here. Also, spoiler alert. Sorry I didn't say that earlier. But yeah, Quentyn's storyline is really fun and shows kind of the futility of trying to control dragons. Something that we're going to, learn the hard way as hopefully more books come out. But yeah, Quentyn, he sails on a boat, he tries to marry Daenerys. Daenerys says, sorry bro, I'm not into you, frog boy. And then he gets burned to death because he tries to claim a dragon, because Quentyn isn't smart. But we love him, we love the energy. You're a great guy, and yeah, I'm done talking about you already. But you were great! Next we got old Marwyn the Mage at number 8. Marwyn the Mage is a maester, but he's a maester that's fascinated with magic, and I love him. He is a kook, he is a conspiracy theorist, but what he's saying might be true, we don't know, but it's damn fascinating. Marwyn is where we get the theory that the Maesters have a grand conspiracy to basically kill off the Targaryen dragons, and by extension, kind of, purge House Targaryen themselves. It's very interesting stuff, and I want to know if it's true, so, Marwyn, where'd you go, man? It was D&D, those fuckers. Next up, we have Val. Val is a wildling princess. Notice the air quotes, because she's not really a princess, but all the southern lords of Westeros think she's a princess, because her sister was married to Mance Rayder, making her a queen, but that wouldn't make her a princess, but they say she's a princess. It's a thing. But Val is a badass. Val is obviously a wildling. She is at the wall. She is a very capable warrior, is intelligent, she's funny. She has some not so great opinions about Shireen Baratheon that I'm gonna skirt by and hope that she doesn't contribute to anything later. But yeah, she's awesome. I love her. I wish she was in the show. Also, she's the subject of Jon Snow's bi-panic as he looks at her and Satin every moment of the day and is like, I am confused. So yeah, we love that for him. Next up, we have Penny, and I cannot stress enough how fucked up it is that Penny gets cut from the TV show because she is so important to Tyrion's development as a human being right here. Penny is awesome. And that's because Penny is so sweet. She is this embodiment of kindness and innocence that is a very interesting like juxtaposition against Tyrion. So she meets up with Tyrion and is traveling with him in Essos, while he's in the middle of his dark spiral into hell. He is a very unpleasant character at this point because he's all up in his head about killing his dad and all the fun stuff. And then Penny is his like one connection to humanity, and it's fascinating because like where he's like being cruel and he's like pissy and petty and just in a bad state with everything else, he still like tries to be kind to her because he has this like urge to be, and it's like a fascinating relationship that I think is pivotal to like the struggle that he's going to and yeah, so I particularly worry about her in the books because I feel like whatever the fate of Penny is going to be the fate of Tyrion, like in opposite, if he lets her go or is the one that does her in. I think he's like fully broken bad and there is like absolutely no coming back from it at all. But if she survives, I feel like that's his like connection to humanity. So yeah, I love her. Next up, we have Strong Belwas. He is a badass. This big tubby dude is a pit fighter. He's a pit fighter from Meereen. He is part of Daenerys's Queen's Guard, and he is a fucking badass. You can see in the illustration, he's got like little cuts all over himself. That's because his rule as a fighter is that he lets every man that he fights cut him once before he kills them, so later he can like keep track of how many people he's offed. Very Killmonger. But yeah, he gets cut from the show because we hate fun. Strong Belwas is like a bigger than life, like campy character. He is like fun, he's loud, he's brash, and he's always like violent. He likes to eat. He's very enjoyable. He adds lightness to the room in like some fucked up comedic ways. Fucked up in the violent sense, you know. But everything's got to be grim, so we got to cut him. Sad. And then his big shining moment in the books, in the TV show, gets given to Daario, because in the show, Daario, when they get to Meereen, they like send out like their champion from Meereen, and Daario fights him. In the book, it's Belwas. Belwas is the one that like fights him and offs him in a second, and it's very funny. Next up is Patchface. Patchface is here to have fun, damn it. Give me my demented, possibly undead clown monster. I want it bad. Patchface is the most demented character in this fucking book series. He is like a court fool, so he's meant to like, you know, sing songs and do dances and make everyone have fun and laugh and stuff. But he looks like this. It's crazy. He was gotten by the Baratheon like parents, so like Robert and Stannis's and Renly's parents, basically to make Stannis laugh because they thought that he was too serious of a kid. But hey, he's still around and he's crazy now. He's crazy because Stannis's parents died on like the boat ride back from Essos where they like picked him up and hired him or whatever. And he also possibly died in the shipwreck. But he was found like 3 days later in the ocean, and then was somehow alive. Crazy. So yeah, he might be undead. He might be like of the drowned god. We don't know. But since he's been, you know, back to life, he speaks in riddles, in these like weird sing-songy prophecy speak, and it's terrifying because he looks like that. This is tattooed on his face. Okay, in third, we have Satin, Jon Snow's femboy boyfriend. I want Jon Snow clapping these femboy cheeks. Jon Snow's bi-panic is an integral part of my personality now, and I demand Satin in whatever next adaptation we get eventually. He is important, and I fucking love him. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I just made a video about this like 2 days ago, okay? Next, in second place, we have, of course, Lady Stoneheart, the resurrected Catelyn Stark zombie white thing. Lady Stoneheart is the embodiment of rage and revenge in the aftermath of the Red Wedding and being resurrected, and the fact that they cut her from the TV show is fucking bullshit. And if you're like, oh, well, I think it was better without her there. I think she just, like, overcomplicates the story. I don't give a shit what you think. I want my zombie Catelyn Stark. I love this goddamn woman, alive or dead, and I want to see her get her fucking revenge. Hang the phrase, fuckers! And in first place, obviously, we have my queen, Arianne Martell. This is the heir to Dorne, the real heir to Dorne, not that twink they hired for the TV show. And this lady is a fucking badass. She is a schemer. She beds hot, burly knights just to, you know, scheme. It's great. She comes up with kidnapping kidnapping plots. She doesn't take being disinherited, in her mind, laying down. She is cool, she gets what she wants, she gets shit done, and she is so fun to be in, her head. It's awesome. The Dorne plot rules in the books, okay? Okay, goodbye, y'all.